Okay, folks, this is chapter three, the first lesson. It's a bit of a standalone lesson um, because tomorrow we start in with scatter plots, so this will seem a little bit isolated, but that's okay. Um, and it's a brief or shorter lesson, but that's a good way to start a chapter. So we're looking into um, your favorite classes and if they're related to each other. So we're looking at your elective class and your favorite core class. Um, and if I was in class, I'd have you put all of your responses up here on the board. For now, I'm going to use the data I had from last year's class. Um, the answer key says English right here, but my last year's class, they wanted to do math and science. So we did math and science. So you would be asked, what's your favorite core class between these two? And then you pick that and then pick your favorite elective over here. Um, and this is our results. So we had nobody that preferred math and art. We had three people that had math and foreign language, um, one science and art, so that kind of thing. So 12 people preferred math, 8 people preferred science. So first question is, how many variables does the table have? Um, and sometimes kids get a little confused. They count up the boxes and they think there's 10 variables. But um, the thought I have for you is this. If you were answering this survey, how many questions would you actually answer? And you would answer two. You'd answer your favorite core class, that's the first variable, and your favorite elective, that is the second variable. So it's just two variables, and they are indeed categorical because you are placing yourself into a box. You're saying, I belong right here. That's my category. Another way to know it's categorical is to ask the question, does it make any sense to get an average of these numbers? And no, it would not. So it's categorical. This came up in a previous chapter. Which one best explains the other one? This is maybe a little bit weaker of a connection, but we're just gonna kind of just say your explanatory is your core class. Typically there are some associations or trends. For people that like math, they may be drawn to certain things, perhaps. So we're going to call that the explanatory. Think of it as the independent variable. You could think about it that way too, independent and dependent. Um, but they're not really. This question is probably better reserved for something that is more obviously explanatory in response. Um, we'll let that ride for now. Then number four, you're going to find all of these percentages. Now, these are all conditional. Okay, so whenever it says percent of the math kids, we are going to be looking at just the math column. Okay, and you can see, I've already written the answers out. You can see that like this is out of 12, this is out of 12. Ooh, I might have a mistake on there, I gotta fix. This is out of 12 and 12 because there are 12 math kids. Okay, I think my mistake is this guy right here, right? Science is 8 kids. Wow, wow. So that would be 5/8, which will change my percentage to 62 and a half. 62.5. You know, um, so again, here, like the math people who chose art, that's this group right here. So nobody, 0%. The science folks, that's 8 people, so that's my denominator. And who chose art? That would just be this one person. So 1 divided by 8. And you can go get your percentages. You can leave them as a decimal if you'd like. You could do 0.125 or 12.5%. So I've gone through and I've done that for all of them. So we're comparing art, music, PE, right? Foreign language, and tech. Um, oh, wait a minute. This was also a zero. So that's wrong, right? Oh, weird. Sorry about, let's fix this up. So this, doop, doop. Let's fix this. So did I get these right? Let's look here. I'm a little doubting myself. Percent of science, so 8 people. Who chose foreign language? That's 1. Okay, so I did get that right. Percent of science, 8 people. Who chose tech? Nobody. So this is not right. Gotta fix that. And I'll just grab this answer from here. Nobody. That is better, I think. Yeah. Okay. Ruby. So that's how you get those percentages. Then what we're really trying to do on 5 and 6 is make a segmented bar chart, a side-by-side one, so that we can answer the question of, is there an association? Is there something going on? Is there a relationship? Does your core class really help explain your elective class or predict your elective class? So open up the applet and we're going to do 2 categorical variables. I've already kind of started this. I haven't finished, so let me do that with you. So I put favorite core class as explanatory on the top, and on the left I put favorite elective class, and I started filling in math and science on the top, art and music, and now I need to keep going. PE, foreign language, and the last one was tech. Okay, and then we put the numbers in. This is putsy, but this is a lot better than making this thing by hand. I'll tell you that. It'll color code it for us. Before I actually have it do it for us, let me just kind of say, if you were trying to do this by hand, right? I'll just kind of briefly, come on, Apple Pen. It doesn't want to respond. Okay. If I was trying to do it by hand, I'd have this, and then I'd have a bar here for math, right? I have a bar here for science, and then this would be 100%. And I would essentially be taking um, like all the math percentages, these 5, and trying to put them into that first bar, right? So nobody chose art. Okay, so nothing to do there. But then 41.6% chose music. So I try to draw a bar here and say music, right? At about 41%. And then on top of that, I try to go 25% more. And this is, you can already tell them my estimations are just becoming kind of flimsy, and that would be PE. Then foreign language, we have another 25%. So something like that. I'll put FL, and then the last 8% would be tech. Okay, so that would be doing it by hand, right? Not bad, but the applet will be much cleaner, much better. So let's just begin analysis, and there it is. Then I can just take a good old screenshot of this bad boy. It has my key on the side here. Oops, I missed the whole key. There we go. And then let's put this in the notes. Oh, shoot, how do I bring this to the front? Layer it up. That's not what that does. Okay, let's just, for the moment, there's got to be an easier way than what I'm doing right now, but whatever. Okay, so there we have it. Um, and it's pretty clear that these percentages are really quite different, especially orange is very different, light blue is very different. There's only one green and only one dark blue. So is there an association? So what I'm really looking at is like, are there groups that have a very different percent, and a different percent is telling us that there's association going on. So, for example, these two right here, right, are very different. They're 40% almost apart. Um, like this isn't too drastic. I mean, we only have a tiny sample size of 20 kids here, so I wouldn't really overreact to this yet, but this one's pretty substantial. This one's not that big, only one kid versus zero kids in each category. This one's also kind of verging on getting substantial, right? So different percents suggest there is an association, okay? Um, so especially for music is what I put. Well, actually, I should say especially for PE. PE is the biggest. Um, So if we know a student's choice of core class, we can better predict their favorite elective. So for example, if we know a kid likes math, the best prediction would be that they like music. If we know a kid likes science, we would predict that they like PE. So that is why we do segmented bar charts, gives you a quick visual. If all these sections were the same across, there would be probably not an association. So here's some quick notes. A lot of this is right here up on the top. I'll just leave that for you. It'll also be in the answer key folder. So again, pretty light day for the first lesson of chapter 3. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.